The chief will not be here for this one. I know he just talked to Sergeant Chach. She'll be doing his portion. I haven't gotten anything from him in terms of emergencies, but I know he's out there. So he just cannot get away from whatever he's doing. There are a couple of things. One, I know there's been reports of officers being injured in a couple of ways where Sergeant Chach will give you an update on that. And Kim Burnett is our city prosecutor. There were some questions earlier today about the processing of the people who were arrested yesterday and the 24-hour period and all that, so she'll be able to talk to you about that. So, Kim, if you want to start.
Yes. Thank you, Mayor. Hello, my name is Kimberly Barnott Mills. I'm the Chief Assistant Prosecutor for the City of Cleveland Prosecutor's Office. I'm here to talk about the process for processing arrestees through our system. As you know, we had a number of arrests yesterday. Those arrested people were brought into our city jail and processed through, and the police department, as quickly as possible, got us police reports. Those reports arrived in our office approximately 2 a.m. this morning, and we reviewed them. As is customary, we will review the reports to determine whether charges are appropriate, and if so, what those charges are. And during that process, we revealed, and is not unusual, that there were some additional questions for clarification purposes we needed from those officers. Excuse me. Those officers had already gone off duty. They had worked a very long 12-hour shift. Once we were able to get them back in, talk to them, get our clarification, we were able to move forward, and today we went forward and issued charges on those cases. Part of the process is to ensure the rights of all the defendants, and we were very careful to do that, as we are in every case. One of those remedies for us to make sure that we ensure their rights is to make a determination, present information to a judge within a reasonable amount of time so that that judge can determine whether a warrantless arrest is appropriate. That was done in this case. Judge Adrian of the Cleveland Municipal Court was able to look at the cases and make a determination that probable cause was sufficient and was present for the arrest of those people. We did move forward today and and charged them. They were arraigned this afternoon, and their cases are moving through the Cleveland Municipal Court.
Okay. Hold your questions for her and have the detective shot.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good afternoon. Today we saw a relatively minor amount of protest activity, demonstration activity. There was some activity on the square. There was some activity around Prospect Avenue and East 4th Street as well. There weren't any arrests today, but we did have some reports that you're probably aware of officers being injured on Public Square. So the information coming in that officers were being stabbed or poked with needles or syringes is not true. We did not have any officers injured by needles or syringes. There was 2 officers who were treated on scene for unknown skin irritations. They were both treated and released on scene, so no one had to be transported to the hospital or anything like that. We are still investigating the possibility that one of these skin irritation incidents could have come from contact with a sticker. One officer did have contact with a sticker prior to experiencing the skin irritation. We are advising at this time that anyone in the public who has received a sticker, and we're not going to say exactly what kind of sticker because we want to just say any kind of sticker. If you've received a sticker from someone that you don't know, and you've stuck it on your skin in any kind of way, that you would remove it and wash the area with soap and water. In addition, we're going to advise at this time that in the public that you not take a sticker from anyone that you don't know. Now, whether or not this is all connected, we're not sure. I can tell you that there haven't been any arrests, but we are investigating that by the Cleveland Division of Police along with our law enforcement officers at the federal level. Once more information becomes available as to whether or not the stickers had anything to do with the skin irritation, we'll do an update. For right now, the officers are okay. We're also getting reports now of some protests and demonstration in the area of the square. We do know that Cleveland Fire is on scene, and we're monitoring right now for a possibility of, any more demonstrations that could involve flag burning. So we'll keep you guys updated on that as well.
All right, any questions?
Is that what kind of demonstration is going on right now?
We don't know what's going on. We just got a report, one of the reasons why the chief is not here, that a fire is on the scene. So what that is, we don't know.
Something's on fire, and then the fire department's there in case something happens.
Right. That's correct. Here first and then here.
You say one of the officers been in contact with us. Can you describe that a little bit?
Sure. From what I was told, he had received the sticker and it came into contact with his skin, and then he had received a burning or numbness sensation, so we went to the medical tent. So at this point, yeah.
So it didn't seem like it was someone was handing him a sticker. It didn't seem like it was something malicious.
Yeah, we're still investigating exactly the context in which the sticker came into contact with him, but it wasn't, there was no assault or anything like that that occurred with it.
Sergeant, earlier today, the Secret Service had mentioned that they may have been involved with the Cleveland Division of Police in an arrest at the Q. And I'm just wondering if you could provide a little bit of some details on that.
Yeah, I am in contact with the administration inside the queue, and I don't have clarification on whether that was an arrest or someone was escorted out, but we will be updating that before this evening's through.
Why are syringes banned if there were no incidents?
Well, syringes were banned as a precaution, partially because we were getting those reports. We want to make sure that everyone knows that we're paying attention to these things and monitoring, and just so that people don't take that to, mean that they should panic. We're banning syringes at this time.
What department was the officer from who had the skin irritation?
That's a good question. The first officer that encountered the skin irritation was a Georgia State Trooper, and the second was from the Cleveland Division of Police.
Sergeant, can you say whether the testing is still continuing and were they sent to Columbus? I think I heard that, or where all that stands.
Right, that's all under investigation, but they will be running tests.
Is there any additional security for this last night of the convention? Obviously, given it's a bit chunky.
Well, we keep this security plan in place, and again, it's not something we don't discuss deployment or tactics, but as the chief has stated over and over again, we've trained and we're ready. We are, monitoring, we're on scene, so we're expecting, that we will be ready for anything that comes up.
Were both officers irritated by the same kind of sticker?
Well, the first officer came into contact with a sticker, the second did not. So we want to be clear that we don't know if the sticker is connected or not.
Question for the prosecutor's office. Could you further clarify the legality of flag burning? I saw that one of the charges was aggravated arson. Can you clarify where the department stands on the legality of burning American flags?
Excuse me. The charges that I think you're referring to are charges on a police report. They were not formally charged out with aggravated arson to begin with. Obviously, it's constitutional to burn a flag within reason. There are certain parameters that are in place to make sure that you're not causing damage, causing harm to other people, and things of that nature. So we just need to make sure that it's done within the contextual basis of the Constitution.
So what were these individuals charged with burning flags?
At this time, they were charged with assault because there were people who were harmed in the process of them burning the flag. There were two separate flag burning incidents, to be clear. The one that we charged out today, there were the two suspects. They were charged with assault, again, for harming people around them with the burning flag.
Where was the second?
The second was a short distance away, East 2nd and Prospect, and that person was charged out with aggravated disorderly conduct and failure to comply.
Question for the sergeant, another last night question. It's the last night. Are you aware of any particular or specific threats, or do you anticipate anybody trying to take this last chance to do something big, plus the candidates speaking with?
Well, I can tell you that, we've maintained this posture of so far so good, but only to take that so far. Again, we have a security plan in place and we are ready. We'll say it over and over again, this is Cleveland, and Cleveland is not like every place else. we have a great community. We are still pushing the FBI's, the 1-800 call FBI, so the RNC tip line. So we consistently say that policing is a partnership and we want you to stay involved. So have your eyes and ears open tonight. If you're out and about and you see something suspicious and you call it in, we could use those tips. We do investigate everything that comes through.
How nervous are you that someone might use this opportunity to do something big?
We're not nervous, we're trained, and we're here to make sure that the public stays safe.
Sergeant, have you heard anything about anarchists tonight specifically holding up some sort of cue or symbol that people are supposed to look for and then do some sort of, attack or protest at that time?
I don't have anything to confirm on that.
Question for the prosecutor. Is there a way to clarify or maybe provide a list of what police that are being charged with and what actually are being prosecuted on?
The clarification between the two?
Yeah, what the charges are now saying.
Okay. The majority of the people we charged out today were charged with misdemeanor offenses, aggravated disorderly conduct, and obstruction of official business. We have some people, again, who were charged with the assault, who were injured by the flag burning incident. The prior flag burning incident was charged with aggravated disorderly conduct and failure to comply. The police put down the charge that they see at the time, but we fully vet that and fully investigate it and determine the best charges for that particular incident. So that's why you could see a dichotomy between the two.
Were all the people arrested, were they all arraigned today or were some?
I believe we still have a couple that need to be charged out. Those are being looked at as felonies, so we need to do some additional investigation on those cases.
So you have 2 felony charges altogether, is that right?
Potentially. We're still investigating to determine what level of degree of offense they are.
What was the total tally for arrests during the RNC so far?
Showed at 23.
And one other question, Sergeant. You mentioned that the feds were involved in this investigation of the sticker incident. Not to dwell on that too much, but what role are they playing?
Well, as you know, this is a partnered law enforcement effort. It's a layered security approach, and we all work together, but we all kind of have separate, duties that will contribute to one investigation. So sometimes there's different, something could start at the level with Cleveland Police and move up to something at the federal level for all different reasons. The prosecutor could attest to just for charging and things like that. Different entities will be involved.
So back to the, incident with the queue, you have no information to provide on what exactly happened?
Yeah, I'm still waiting for clarification.
Okay.
How many of the defendants remain in jail right now?
I am unsure of that number. We would have to confirm with the jail. But
Well,
it
they
should be a
weren't
small
arraigned.
number. Right. All of the misdemeanors, every person who's been charged out right now has been arraigned, and most of them are out on a personal bond.
So all the misdemeanor defendants, we know that they're out?
Yes, and we're still
If the
investigating.
process is-
Right, and we're still investigating the additional charges.
Can you tell us who those charges would be?
I don't have the list in front of me at this time.
Are all the out-of-town police meeting tomorrow, or are we going to stay for the weekend just to make sure?
That I'm not sure of. I know that some of that's kind of flexible, so it would be based on whether or not we need numbers. It's kind of another staffing question where we wouldn't necessarily talk about deployment or them leaving.
Can you tell us if the 2 flag incidents, were they groups that were connected? Was it the same group? Do you have that information?
I'm unable to talk about that information at this time.
Sergeant, have any weapons been confiscated today?
Not to my knowledge, no weapons.
Anything prohibited items?
There's been prohibited items confiscated throughout the entire event.
When will the city begin to disassemble the barriers?
It's those are Secret Service barriers, so they'll, whenever they,
Get around to it?
no, whenever they deem it to be appropriate.
Sergeant, I spoke to a woman who basically, she said she was working with the church and she took someone else's credentials and was able to get into a secure event. She had a shirt that said free hugs. She seemed harmless, but to me, that seemed like a security issue, someone swapping credentials. Are there mechanisms in place to stop people from swapping credentials?
There are a lot of security layers in place to stop that kind of thing, but the monitoring of the secure zone is actually done by the United States Secret Service. I don't have any information to say that anyone's used someone else's credentials.
Is that a risk, though? Is that an easy way for a protester, for example, to get into the queue by just taking someone else's credentials?
Well, based on the fact that we haven't had reports of it come through our information center to verify it, I'd say it's a pretty low risk.
There's only been 23 arrests, which is a remarkably low number if you look back in the history of RNC. I think there were 700 in St. Paul, there were more than 1,000 in New York City. Do you have any explanation for this? Is it lower turnout? Is it a different approach to policing? Do you have any insight as to why there's been so few? Or is it just good behavior by the protesters?
Could be all of the above, but tomorrow we'll have a 10 o'clock briefing just like this, and then we'll be able better to discuss those things. Right now, we're still focused on the event itself, okay?
Has there been any kind of estimate as to how many visitors actually came?
Somebody is probably able to give you that. I don't know. I really don't know. Yes.
I know you can't get specific information about deployment, but can you speak to just the general sort of cost and logistics of bringing so many different departments to Cleveland, where they're staying?
No. The cost and stuff will be public record. You know, where they're staying and stuff is something we would not tell you anyway. But cost will be public record, so it'll be part of what you can get once the event is over with. You just file for it and you get it. Anything else?
Mayor, one more question. We've seen officers being kind of shuttled around town in vans and on motorcycles, and they kind of fly down the street at 60 miles an hour, go through the lights. Is that part of a precautionary measure taken to protect them, or it seems to be?
Well, the officers they'll be shuttled around for all different reasons. Some of it's housing, sometimes it's getting people breaks, you know, eating and drinking and things, and we're trying to take really good care of our people out there. It's hot, you know, these guys and girls are working really long hours away from their families for a long time. They're doing a great job out there, they really are. So we also want to thank the community for their support. We've seen an overwhelming and amazing support for law enforcement throughout the course of this week, and we really appreciate that. You know, keep it coming, we really like that.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Remember, tomorrow, 10 o'clock, it will be, I think, our last one, unless something happens or we have to do another one. Tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock.